Jax wore chains in his own mind, not because he was trapped by anyone else, but because he trapped himself. Those shackles represent the gap between who Jax really is and who he pretends to be. The real Jax plays piano. He's sensitive, he cares deeply, but the shackles kept him locked away. And by the time Pomni found him, those chains had become so heavy that Jax couldn't break free even if he wanted to. The saddest part? He forged those chains himself. Inside Jax's mind, Ragatha's door had a giant X crossed through her picture. Not because Jax hated her, quite the opposite. Jax knew that if Ragatha abstracted, he would lose the last person who reminded him of his mom, the one person who showed him unconditional care. So in his abstraction nightmare, Jax choked Pomni while staring at Ragatha's crossed-out face. Because losing Ragatha would mean losing the only maternal figure he had left. That's not evil. That's pure desperation. That scene with Gangle and Jax in the maid outfit wasn't random. Jax wore the maid dress from episode 5, the same one that made Gangle upset, but here's what nobody noticed. Jax wasn't trying to hurt her. He was trying to get closer to her without making her uncomfortable, because Gangle became broken the moment she entered the circus. And Jax knew it was his fault. So he created fantasies where he could be near her without causing more pain. That's guilt masquerading as cruelty. Zubal's abstraction scene was a direct Looney Tunes parody. Jax chased Zubal like Wile E. Coyote chasing the Roadrunner. Zubal fell off a cliff just like in the cartoons. But this wasn't comedy. It was Jax's deepest fear, that he pushes people away so hard they fall into the void. That's why Jax always blamed himself for Zubal's suffering. Because in his mind, he was literally the villain pushing her to her breaking point. There's a door in Jax's mind that can never be opened. A door with boards and chains covering it completely. Everyone assumed it was Pomni's abstraction. But what if it's something worse? What if it's both Pomni and Ribbit? Two abstraction scenarios combined. The two people Jax loved most experiencing their worst moments. That's why the door stays locked. Because Jax can't even allow himself to imagine that nightmare. Goose Works confirmed it. Behind that locked door is Jax's gender identity. The moment he told his mom the truth about himself, she laughed at him. Then she attacked him. That one moment destroyed everything. Jax didn't run away because he was ashamed. He ran away because his own mother rejected him. And that fear followed him into the digital circus. Every person he pushed away was him trying to avoid that same rejection. Every cruelty was self-defense. Here's the tragic truth. Jax had one chance to survive. In episode 9, he walked away from Pomni. He was clearly breaking down. If Pomni had chased after him in that moment, if she had refused to let him walk away, Jax would still be alive. He would have opened up. He would have finally let someone in. But Pomni let him go. And by the time she realized what was happening, it was too late. One moment of hesitation, one missed opportunity. That's all it took. Jax's human counterpart is named Leroy Mateo. He was homeless. He lived on the streets for months after running away from his mom. But then something changed. He found the triangle bar. He found Zubal. He found stability. And slowly, Leroy started healing. He became a delivery driver. He started living again. But the digital copy of Jax never got that second chance. He was trapped in the moment before redemption. That's the cruelest part of his abstraction. There's a blue bowling ball that appears throughout the entire series. Nobody knew whose it was. But in episode 9, we see it in Ribbit's room. It was always Ribbit's. When Ribbit abstracted, Jax took the bowling ball. It became his only memento of the person he loved most. He carried it everywhere. A physical reminder of his biggest failure. Every time we see that bowling ball, it's Jax remembering Ribbit. Grieving Ribbit, blaming himself for Ribbit. Pomni had to enter Jax's abstraction. She had to see his mind. She had to witness his pain. But here's what she couldn't do. She couldn't undo years of trauma. She couldn't heal a wound that deep. By the time Pomni reached Jax's heart, his mental code was already broken beyond repair. Even Caine, with all his power, couldn't fix it. Abstraction isn't a door you can unlock. It's a point of no return, and Jax had already crossed it.